It's parent killing time. Yeah bro, this chapter we see the attempted assassination of Kenjaku. But if there's anything more dangerous than Kenjaku with prep time, it's a cornered Kenjaku. Cause bro showed the sorcerers he is not the one to try. But this was an outstanding chapter. These are some peak sorcerer battles and this fight is rather important, so it makes me question a certain someone's lack of involvement as Yuki and Chozo fight to survive. But I'll have more to say on that later in the review, so let's dive right into it. We are now in Star and Oil Part 3, and the chapter kicks off by a flashback before the battle of Chozo getting debriefed on the plan to kill Kenjaku. So like what was already mentioned, domain expansions are strong, but a trade-off is that the user's curse technique burns out and becomes hard to use. Even someone like Gojo is affected by that, and Kenjaku is subject to it as well. So they want to target that moment of weakness. But if Kenjaku is already aware of Chozo's ambush, he wouldn't use a domain because he knows they want to kill him after he casts it. So Chozo gets the idea to get defeated on purpose. That way, Kenjaku believes the fight would be a 1v1 against each opponent. Of course, he already expanded his domain and burned out his curse technique, so here we are now. Likely the best case scenario, both Chozo and Yuki are geared up and Kenjaku is weighed down by Garuda's immense mass. This is now parent killing time, and for the sake of Yuji's future and the memory of his brothers, they will take down Kenjaku. A little thing I like is how Chozo calls Kenjaku Noritoshi Kamo, because it's the persona that Chozo knows him as and the one who abused Chozo's mother. So if anyone was to have the greatest hatred / beef with Kenjaku, it's gonna be Chozo. But even with all the right circumstances and all the battle in their favor, Kenjaku still managed to pull off an incredible feat of reacting to a point-blank piercing blood attack and uses a boxing maneuver of spinning his neck, so in turn, the blood only grazed the layer of flesh and bone between the brain. It's funny how I say it grazed him, but it literally took his skull cap clean off. Yuki also regards Kenjaku as the fallen warrior, or the Ochimusha, which is very fitting since they are depicted as like near death and very shamed warriors with bald heads, as Kenjaku looks like when he has his skull cap off. So Yuki takes this opportunity to hit Kenjaku, and it's noted that because Yuki has her injuries, her output of her curse technique is lessened, because if she was fresh like the other week, that hit might have knocked his head clean off given her virtual mass. So at this point, Yuki and Chozo think they have Kenny cornered and go full tilt, just hammering down on Kenjaku. It's not a total beatdown because he is somehow managing, but he's getting hands thrown at him. And Chozo even gives Yuki a moment to heal herself with reverse curse technique. So it's pretty amazing how good their teamwork actually is against Kenjaku. However, when she healed with reverse curse, her actual curse technique weakened for a brief moment. So in that time it took, Kenjaku broke free, but our team does not let up as they go all out to keep the pressure on Kenjaku. I'm actually very impressed at how Yuki uses Garuda, and her output is immense. Even in the state she is in, Yuki is the best of the best. But before they both blitz Kenjaku, his technique recovers and they're in trouble now. Yet if you notice, and what Yuki sensed, Kenjaku's gravity curse technique is visibly seen having an effective range of 2 to 3 meters around the sorcerer. We see a visible outline of it and how it forces objects down. Yuki figured out Kenjaku uses gravity for 6 seconds, then proceeds to fill that cooldown with curse spirit manipulation. But with how powerful she is, in those 6 seconds, she can ignore any curse thrown at her and go straight for Kenjaku. In her mind, her win condition is just to keep attacking hard and heavy, since multiple factors like domain expansion, reverse curse technique, and Chozo's attack have weakened Kenjaku, so she takes her chances and goes all in. But things do not work out so well. Kenjaku revealed yet another card as he uses Gero's technique, creating a mini Uzumaki attack of super condensed cursed energy. And this isn't an attack she can ignore since it's just raw power. So initially Kenjaku aimed at her head, but she just managed to block it somewhat. Then Kenjaku points out that her weight does not change using Bambaya, meaning even if her density increases, her durability does not. So contrary to what a lot of us might have initially thought or believed, her curse technique does not, in a sense, tank anything. It would just ignore all concepts altogether. So that implies she can still be subject to power type manipulation of cursed energy. And at the final page, we see that using this mini Uzumaki, Yuki has been critically injured and now has a hole in her torso from the second impact. Chozo calls her name, the chapter ends. It's the classic anime gut shot, the donut hole, you probably know it. But first and foremost, Tengen. Bruh. What the hell is Tengen doing, bruh? Like, what on God's green earth could Tengen possibly be doing while Yuki and Chozo are fighting for their lives? Dude didn't have not one panel this chapter. Like, are they just standing around? 100% if Tengen comes back next chapter and he fumbles again, that thing is onto something or conspiring with the enemy. Ain't no way Kenjaku comes into his own domain and they just stand there and get took. If Tengen fumbles one more time in any way, I'm calling it. This thing has ill intention. It's the game master. It wants this to happen. I don't care if it's good intentions, bad intentions. There's no reason for the great sage of Jujutsu getting disrespected this bad in its own domain / barrier. If you notice, even Chozo, while he's down, is using Kechizo's ability to help Yuki. It's very subtle, but they're giving it all they got. So a little effort is appreciated. I really do hope next chapter Tengen actually manages to do something and help. Otherwise, I just gotta call BS for real. But what do you guys feel about Yuki's fate? I personally feel it's way too early for her death. And even if cursed energy comes from the stomach, her brain is still intact and reverse curse technique stems from the head. So healing is not entirely out of the picture. We honestly need to see much more of Yuki and see her have some closure with Tengen and the others before even considering her death. But regardless, I think we will get to a point where Kenjaku will reach his goal, and it's gonna happen in some sort of form. Not that anyone has to die, but Kenjaku ain't going nowhere till he sees this through. This is 1,000 years in the making. But I'm honestly just inhaling insane amounts of copium that no one dies, cause I know Gege is not at all afraid to just write off characters. Kenjaku might not even give her time to heal, but I'm certain given the time that we have now, a death, especially Yuki's, would be just a little bit too soon. At least, you know, give us another 30-40 chapters with her. But for now, those are my thoughts on this chapter 207. I'll be doing another theory video soon discussing recent chapters and the transition out of the Coin Game arc. So please share you brothers' thoughts in the description below. I love this chapter. It was insanely awesome. I love reading you guys' comments as well and engaging with you guys through this channel. So please share how you guys feel. We just reached 6K subs, so thank you guys so much. My besto friendzo. You guys are awesome. This has been Enemy Stand User, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.